Hello.
Hi.
Nice to finally meet you. I know not in person, but it's nice to finally meet you, Kina. Everyone, Kyna Squarey has just joined our live chat, and I was just doing the introduction. This is another episode of Queens of the Olympia. I am interviewing today Kyna Squarey. She is a Masters champ and all around just amazing woman doing so many things within her community. And so with no further ado, I just want to say congratulations, Kina, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes, I started this at the beginning of the season, in my off season, just wanted to do something that I thought, we needed to have out there for women's bodybuilding. I'm sure there's other
Absolutely.
shows and whatnot, but I just thought this was something that would be pretty cool after you win a show, just to be able to have a good chat and talk about the experience and being able to put in all that hard work. So again, thank you for coming on and congratulations for the amazing season that you've had. And I'll get right into it. I want you to just go ahead and before we get into the whole bodybuilding thing, just go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and everything that you have going on.
I don't know if there's much to tell. I'm a neurologist. I'm a mother. I have a partner. A daughter, a sister, and I'm a bodybuilder. So that's kind of my life. It's pretty packed.
What's the most meaningful aspect of your profession? Because neurology, that's quite something to me, in my opinion, to be able to do both, especially. And I know that you also specialize Parkinson's and work with patients of that nature, which I find very fascinating. I did a little research, so I mean, it has to be rewarding, right? It has to be something that you're giving to other people. You get to do both, right? Something for yourself and something for others.
That's true, and one feeds the other. If you take care of yourself, then you have more to give other people. Um, and I find I can't do one without the other one. But I think the most meaningful thing is I get out of both, and that's just the connections you make with people, and the experiences you get to have. Because that's what life's all about, is it's just making connections, meaningful connections with people. And they're very different worlds, so I get to meet people from all different facets of life, so.
I like what you said about that, just about the experiences with people and the connections. And you can also say that in bodybuilding,
It's the same thing. Yeah. I lost you. There we go.
modern technology for us folks. So you hit on connections. To
Yeah.
me, that also parallels with bodybuilding because
Oh,
relationships and connections, they're everything. Feeding one another and support, that's very vital.
and bodybuilding's such a small world, and the best friends I've ever had in my life are bodybuilders, and so yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So tell us, how did you get into bodybuilding?
Um, so I was a marathon runner. I probably run over 20 marathons, and the last one I ran was Boston, and I'd done it mainly to take my daughter back after the bombing because we were there. And I wanted her just not to remember Boston for that, or just so. But I was running it, and I thought, "Oh, I'm running this for her. I'm tired. I'm tired of running. I want to do something different, something that's completely out of my comfort zone." Um, and I'm a pretty shy individual, so getting up on stage was very difficult from of all of it. I can eat, I can starve, I can, whatever, train, but getting up on stage is really hard for me. So that's why I tried it, and I remember reaching out to a coach at the time, and she was like, "Okay, I'm going to teach this. I'm going to meet this marathon runner, and she's going to expect to be a bodybuilder. Well, this is going to be fun." So that's kind of how I got started. But as soon as I started, I fell in love with it. I loved it right from the get-go.
Wow, from marathon running to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
do you still run? Or obviously not in that capacity, but do you still like to, I guess, is that still part of your world, or did you completely have
So
to?
I can be honest with you and tell you I couldn't just stop overnight.
Sure.
It was, just was part of my world for such a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember Chris Edmonds, Chris is my coach, and him saying, if you don't stop running, I'm going to run into a wall.
Wow. That's actually some good advice.
You can't grow your legs and run. They just don't, they don't go together.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true. That's kind of how I felt with dancing. I don't want to get too far off, but I've been doing dance for so long and teaching and doing competitive level. It's kind of hard because of the cardio and all of the beating that you're doing on your muscles and your legs and all that.
Yeah.
So to be able to grow legs, it's kind of, I get it. It's kind of like you're trying to go up a wall, right? And after a while, you're just going to hit that wall, and something's got to give, right?
Something's got to, yeah.
Right. So you decided to just go all in. And can you talk about the journey from once you started and to now your decision to be in women's bodybuilding and where you're at?
I think I've heard this story from a lot of people. We all start somewhere. Usually, so for me, very first time I competed was in figure. And then I knew that wasn't for me. And then I tried women's physique. And I actually competed in Toronto this year at the Toronto Pro in women's physique. And then my plan was to go on and compete at Chicago and Tampa again in women's physique. And I was doing a posing session with Kenny Wallach. And, we were 5 minutes into the session and he said, "Kina, I gotta go." And he hung up the phone. And I'm like, oh God, how badly did I mess up today? That again, and then he called my coach, and then he called me back, and he said, "I think you should do bodybuilding." And
Yeah.
that was 10 days before Chicago Pro.
Wow.
So that morning, he taught me the bodybuilding poses. And Chris Edmonds worked with me over the next week, and then I stepped on stage in Chicago. So,
wow, that's incredible. So basically, it wasn't part of the plan, but just how universe and everything works, bigger than you.
Yeah.
You were already set to be in it, and you didn't even know. That's incredible. And I wouldn't have known that you just learned those poses, girl. I would have not known that you didn't have much time under your belt. I really didn't, and I was watching. So for you to do that, it shows, and you can send a message that if you're determined enough and you have people that believe in you, you can do it.
Absolutely. I didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, but you had, and look at all that you gained. Look at all that you gained.
I guess except not my dignity, whatever the word is, but I just thought I'm just going to step out stage. I'm going to do the poses the best that I can do it.
Yep.
And for me, the way it worked, both Chicago and Tampa, you did the Masters the day before you did the Open. And that was a really good thing for me because the Masters got my nerves out of the way. And then the next morning I was ready. Like I was like, if whoever wants to win, they're going to have to, get by me to win. So that works better. That works better for me. I've still got a lot to do. I'm still very small, so I've got a lot of muscle to put on.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, I mean, again, the fact that you made that decision and now it's just the momentum, right? Now you just move forward in your next steps, building off of this. And at least now you know what's possible.
Yeah.
And see the fact that you know that you can bring out more, bring out better. I mean, I mean to see what you did, being able to win the Masters, and then you placed top four in Tampa. That's incredible, incredible. So again, I can tell the humility, but that is something I really hope that you took home and you really it sunk in. Like, all right, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. I'm ready to go. Because not too many they can do that. Just making that switch.
I think when I look at the pictures of the show, the smile that was on my face, it made me aware of I'm where I should be.
Yeah.
I've got a lot to do, but I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky. I'm healthy and my body lets me do this, and I'm having a blast. So.
Yeah. Now, Kenny Wallach. A lot of us know who Kenny Wallach is. Talk about that experience. Now, did you have any creative input? I know you said posing isn't your first, level of comfort and right. Yeah. But did you, as you went along, did you find yourself kind of inserting some things, and how was that process?
So I've known Kenny since I've started. God love him. He's had a lot of work to do. So he helped me become a pro, and he's a good friend. He's a really good coach. I don't. What was the question? I'm not sure. In terms of,
the process when you were working with him, as far as the creative process.
Right. I'm teachable.
There you go. Hey,
that's what I am. I was a gymnast, so I have, I guess, a little bit of some, but I'm not a creative person. In that sense, I'm a scientist, I'm a clinician, I'm very, so I'm always in awe of people that have creative ability, because I don't have any. But I'm teachable, and I will work, and I will learn, and I guess if I can do it, anybody can.
Now, do you think the discipline that you have acquired in your profession, being in neurology and science, don't you feel that does play a part in the mechanics overall of being in this sport?
Absolutely. I think, but being in sports at a young age, I know you mentioned you were a dancer. In gymnastics, you were up at 6, you were in the gym, you were training, lunchtime you were training, after school you were training, so you learn that discipline at a very young age. And then, you're studying and working. Maybe it's not in everybody's realm of things, but that's one strength I have, is that if I put my mind to something, I'm gonna work really hard and do my best at it. I got a lot of faults, but that's something I do have.
Right. That tenacity and that unrelenting will. And that was something, again, you learned from the conditioning of being in competitive gymnastics. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that is something that can be said for anybody that is involved, as you say, in sports or had some kind of background where you had to be disciplined and regimented.
Yeah.
Because again, this is what it's all about. You have to be
Yeah.
disciplined day in, day out.
Yeah.
And to see that in
as you know, in this sport, it's just consistency, right? It's having one perfect day after another. And, it's not like one day you wake up and it's all there. It's years of perfect day after perfect day.
Yep.
So.
Exactly. Well, can you talk about who made your suit on that perfect day for you?
Jacqueline Wilson made my suit for me, and she was wonderful. So I'm in Canada, and I live on the very east coast in province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and Jacqueline's in New Brunswick, and she's a bikini pro. So she's also a judge, so that's how I met her, and she did a fantastic job. She was really great because didn't have a suit. I had to contact her 10 days before and say, "Can you do me a women's bodybuilding suit?"
Wow.
And she got
I mean,
it done. She got it done, and she got it to me before I left. So I was, very
that's incredible.
lucky.
You were able to, I mean, is this the first time you're talking about this? I mean, for
Yes.
anybody, I hope that watches this, again, I hope that this is a testament of just tenacity and, unrelenting will. And also, again, you had that belief. You had that belief to move you forward and put all the pieces together in such a short time. You had that sense of belief. And I believe everybody has to. You have to see that vision. And you may not know how you're going to get there, right? But you see it. And I feel like it was Kenny, and then you believed, and then it all just came together. And then within like 2 weeks, it seems like you got everything all put together in a nice little bow, and you presented your package. And again, like I said, that's something to be said. Placing that high, doing that well, and you letting us all know what went behind that. So again, it's not easy, but if you believe and you just, you have a good support system, again, that's key.
That's very important.
You can move mountains. You can make it happen. You can make it happen. So moving on to the season as a whole, it seems like so much went on. It's kind of like you're coming out, if you will. You're blossoming. You're new, like if a butterfly, coming out of the cocoon, right? So what would you say, I guess, is the most memorable thing from this metamorphosis, if you will, of Kyna Squarey this year?
I have two things that I recall very well, and one was when, because the first time I stepped out in the Masters competition in women's bodybuilding in Chicago, I had no idea how it was going to go. And when I won the over 40 and the over 50, and I came off stage, and my coach was there, Chris Edmonds, and my partner was there, and they were just both waiting for me, and they were so happy, and it was just so nice to see them because I couldn't have got there without them. And the second thing was when I got to stand up on stage in Tampa with such amazing athletes. In the top four, with Michaela Ailcock, and I mean Teresa. Teresa was such a sweetheart. Like it was like a dream. And I will say the third thing was I got to work out at MI40, and I've always to work out there. So that was like I said to the one of the staff, it was like it's a dream for me to be here working out in this environment, So yeah, those were the three most memorable.
Wow, that's incredible that you had, and you want to hear those stories. At the end of the day, you put all the work in, and you want to show up and feel your best, and also, be, in a welcoming environment, and feel, good, positive energy. And I've been hearing that all season. And, I love to hear that. I feel that we all need to support one another, and, just have that good, positive environment, no matter what. So, do you have any advice for any ladies that are starting out, that might be considering getting into bodybuilding?
I think the hardest thing is sometimes it's just believing in yourself when sometimes there's a lot of negativity around what you're doing. If you want to do it, just do it. Just start. Just start. It absolutely amazes me today to see, people that aren't really athletes, even just starting, just going in there. I think, like, I've been fortunate. I've been an athlete all my life, but some people haven't. So just the first day to go in there and to just start and to just keep going, and believe in yourself and don't give up.
Now, this I didn't have pre-planned, but you being a gymnast and now being a bodybuilder, and yeah, gymnasts, they're more athletic than dancers. Now dancers have come a long way. We have, Misty, we have women that have kind of changed the trajectory kind of what is acceptable body types, or what you see more of, right?
Yeah.
So now that you are a bodybuilder, what would you say to a younger version of yourself, or someone that is, you know what I mean, that doesn't have someone to look up to? Because I've asked other dancers this question before. When I was younger, I wish I had someone to look up to, that, you know what I'm saying, that I could be mindful of. Oh, this is something that you can do both. You can be both, right? So what would be something that you would say to like a younger version of you as the gymnast, being the bodybuilder?
Do you mean to go change sports, or?
No, embrace that you can do both, that you can be muscular, and that you can embrace being in the art, and being, because I know gymnastics is a little bit different in the sense that it's more fitness based than dance, but I feel like there's still an art form to it, and there's still a certain look. But I feel like because you have so much that you have to do with your body and strength, that should be something that should be celebrated. Who cares if you want to be a certain size? If you can do the flips, if you can do everything, do it. Like fitness, you know what I mean? Kind of like that.
I'm not sure if I understand your question, so forgive me if I don't.
It's okay.
But as
I
a
just came up with it,
gymnast,
so I'm trying to articulate it myself. So I'll be honest with you.
if as a gymnast, it's, you're meant to be thin. You're
Right.
constantly meant to be dieting, and I mean, I remember a conversation with my coach. You got to lose 12 pounds.
Right.
Like, where as I think what I'm really embracing in women's bodybuilding is I don't have to I don't have to be small. I can grow.
Right. There we
And
go. You're on the path.
I can grow and just let my body build. And, because that's where it wanted to go. Even
Yes.
in women's physique, I was trying to make my square fit into a circle.
There you
And
go.
it wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I'm so happy in women's bodybuilding, because I can just be me and I can just grow, and I'm just really looking forward to, the next year, the next day, um, and what I can do.
So I think from all of that, I think I can answer it for you. You would
Okay.
tell young Kina, do not put yourself in a box. That this
Yeah.
is not just this is not just going to be the only way that I can be accepted and see myself. and in order to be beautiful and to feel like my most authentic self. And I too was the same way. In dance, you're supposed to be thin. You're supposed to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And I wanted to fit in that box so that I could be accepted. Smaller is better. Before I even picked up a weight, I was told, tone it down. Tone it down. You know, little arms, little this, you know, I'm sure you had the same thing. But now we're in a sport, we're in an industry and an environment and community that says, no, whatever your potential is, and you see that as your potential and what you want to be for yourself, do it. We celebrate you.
Yes, absolutely.
And the look on your face, it's that freedom that brings pure joy and elation. And everyone's vision of themselves is different, but the fact is that we don't have a limit. We don't have a limit.
But part of that also comes from within, you know, being, and I'm not sure as a younger person I would have, because there's a people pleaser. I don't know if I would have had like now I'm okay with myself. You know, I'm okay that I don't care what other people think. You know, I'm happy and I'm at peace with my decisions. But you know, that took time and acceptance. So,
I'm still
you
working
know,
that every day, and I'm open with that. It takes time, one day at a time.
Yeah.
That's my motto. So, with that being said, what's next for Miss Kyna Squarey?
Honestly, I just want to get up every day and do what I'm doing. And I'm very thankful that I get to do it. But in terms of goals, I got some pretty high goals. You know, I try not to put myself in a box because of my age. I'm healthy, and I'm really new to bodybuilding, and I don't have any injuries, and I just, you know, I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for prep. I'm thankful for, you know, those awful days. You know, I'm thankful when I make it to this stage. So in terms of the future, I would really like to compete at the Masters Olympia next year. I really would like to compete in some more pro shows. I mean, ultimately, who wouldn't want to win a pro show and go to the Olympia, you know?
But possibilities are endless, Master. Yes. I say now, this is a long game. To me, you're not in a box because of your age. That's another beautiful thing about this sport, where the other sports, you kind of have a timeline. You kind of have a shelf life, right? But with this, you don't. As long as you said it, you're healthy. You're feeling good, right? You're at a place where you can put it on more, you can go, and you can keep on going. And that's it. That's the message. You can get started in this at any age. As long as you're doing your best, sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
And that'd be nice to see you on that master stage. So put that out there, and you just keep on dreaming and doing. We might see you next year. You never know, Miss Kina.
You never know.
You never know. Well, I, for one, enjoyed watching you compete. And again, I like to just support every woman in this division. Again, I want us to all, you know, support one another. I know at the end of the day, when we get on that stage, sure, we all want to win. But there's no reason why we all can't join together and build this community and push it forward. So it's been great, and it's been an honor having you. Thank you for being on here. I'm building this, and so all the ladies, from the bottom of my heart, I really do. I thank you for coming on in your time.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you for all that you're doing for all of us, because I think this is a great forum, you know. We don't get to see a lot of women bodybuilders. I think whenever I listen to things, it's all about the men. I'm like, well, what about the men?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And so I'm just, I'm grateful that everybody's been receiving it so well that's come on here, and you know, we're just getting started. So, and just like you with the competing aspect, I've got my sights set on the future as well. But you know, I just tell everybody, you go at your own pace. Go at your own pace. So, this will do it for today's episode of Queens of the Olympia. Again, I'm your host, Danielle Willis, IFBB Pro, and I just had the privilege of sitting with IFBB Pro Women's Bodybuilder Kyna Squarey. Until the next time, everyone, please be good to yourselves.